What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com, your home for the 2020 World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Rob and I were off last week. We are back this week for a big series this weekend against the Diamondbacks. And, you know, Rob, I do say big series against the Diamondbacks. We are talking about a team that is 20-50 on the season. They've lost 14 in a row. They've lost 28 of their last 30, 31 of their last 34, 37 of their last 42. I guess I'll intro this with this question. Are the Diamondbacks really this bad?
Yeah, they really are. And the offense is okay. There's some decent hitters on that offense. Some guys who are kind of honestly enjoying a breakout season, like Pavin Smith and Carson Kelly, a Portland, Oregon native. Um, but the pitching has just been so bad. Zach Gallen has been on the IL twice now, so they're just missing a lot of the guys who they thought they could count on in the rotation and in the bullpen. And the bullpen wasn't all that good when healthy, and so they're just giving up runs in bunches, and that's the quickest way to lose 28 out of 30.
Yeah, and it feels like, I would imagine, if you're in the clubhouse, when you lose however many in a row they've lost on the road now, 28 of their last 30, that stuff tends to build. But just as an overview of the two teams we're talking about here, you know about the Dodgers, second in runs per game this year, third in ERA. It's why they're one of the best teams in baseball. Diamondbacks, on the other hand, I was surprised, 17th in runs per game. So we are talking about, despite the record, a league average offense, 30th in ERA, an ERA of 5.37. This is a team that's seen the game go over in 6 of their last 7. Before we get into tonight's numbers, just a quick note. The Dodgers have played the Diamondbacks this season, 4-game sweep. Walker Buehler gets the win in a 3-1 victory in the first game. Urias, 9-1 victory in the second. The Dodgers win 4-2 and 3-2, and Kershaw and bullpen starts as well. So we'll get into some of those matchups as well. But here is Friday's sort of the numbers for tonight's game. Trevor Bauer on the mound for the Dodgers versus Caleb Smith for the Diamondbacks. You see the numbers there. Dodgers, obviously heavy favorites, almost minus 200 on the money line. The total is 9.5. So looking at this, a couple things jump out. Trevor Bauer, obviously not been great his last 2 starts, 5.11 ERA with 6 walks. Caleb Smith, on the other hand, has just been in the rotation for a few starts for the Diamondbacks. He has gone 5 innings, and 4 1/3 inning in those 3 starts. He's walking 2 per game. He's given up a home run in every start. The concern for me, the reason that I look at this, and obviously I like the Dodgers. I like the Dodgers minus 1.5, taking that minus 130. Smith can't go more than 5 innings so far, and that's a problem when you have one of the worst bullpens. They have the 4th worst bullpen ERA, 4th worst FIP in baseball. So that's what jumps out to me. The Diamondbacks have only been within 2 runs in 6 of their 14 losses in this current losing streak they're on. So when just big picture, I like Trevor Bauer. I don't think he's as bad. I know everyone's worried about the sticky stuff. His hits and stuff hasn't been down. It's been the walks that have been an issue. If he can get that under control against a team like the Diamondbacks, who are 24th in baseball when it comes to weighted runs created against right-handed pitchers. So all that to say, I like the Dodgers minus 1.5 at the minus 130 number.
I'm going to stay away from the side here. It sounds crazy to say that against a team that's lost 14 in a row, but the Dodgers are only 6-8 in Trevor Bauer's starts this year,
Yeah.
and I don't have a lot of confidence to lay such a heavy number on the Dodgers. But I am interested in capitalizing on that Diamondbacks bullpen. I think Caleb Smith is one of their better pitchers. And I know the Dodgers don't hit lefties all that well, but the Dodgers are averaging 5.2 runs per game on the road. They're going up against the worst pitching in baseball for this series. The D-backs have allowed at least 6 runs in 9 of their last 15 home games. They've got almost a run per inning in their last 7 games. So while I'm staying away from the side, I like the over 9.5 here, and I also like the over on the Dodgers team total at 5.5, and that's minus 110. So not too bad, not too high a number for the Dodgers offense to hit. I know coming off the shutout in their last game, I think they'll be a little extra motivation and finally happy to see some bad pitching after kind of getting shut down by Wheeler last game.
Yeah, the 9.5 number is a big number that scares me a little bit. I'm with you. I like the Dodgers team total. I do think, again, Caleb Smith, if he can't go 6 innings, the Diamondbacks needing to get 12 outs from that bullpen, the Dodgers being the road team, That's going to be a big number. One thing I thought was interesting was, which kind of goes against that, but the under 5 for the first 5 innings was interesting because, as you said, the Dodgers do struggle against lefties. So if you think Caleb Smith can get them 4 or 5, then maybe he keeps it low. Again, I'm a believer in Trevor Bauer, and so that's why I like that number. The one prop that I threw at you that I know both of us love is the under total bases. You're a big under total bases guy. AJ Pollock minus 101 under 1.5 total bases. That does not include walks. So will AJ Pollock either get 2 singles or an extra base hit at some point? You're basically getting even money on the no. Nothing against AJ Pollock. We know he prefers to hit the lefties. Obviously, some history in Arizona, maybe some motivation there. But if he's batting 6th in the lineup and gets 4 at bats, maybe he walks once, maybe he strikes out once and puts the ball in play twice. I like my chances there. So I know that's a prop that I believe you enjoy as well.
I'm all over that. I'd take that same juice on under half a total base. Yeah, he's probably not going to be hitting the top half of the lineup. While he does hit lefties well, he hasn't hit them all that well this year. He's hitting 260, but he's walked or struck out in over a third of his plate appearances against left-handed pitchers, and you can't get a base hit when you're walking or striking out. So when you're not even putting the ball in play, I should say. And yeah, I think the Dodgers have had their struggles against lefties, and they've struck out a lot against a lot of pitching. So Caleb Smith is a pretty high strikeout pitcher as well. Maybe not as much this year, but last year and the year before, he was racking up strikeouts in the Marlins and then the D-backs rotation. Another thing on that total, if you have the access to it, if you do think that it's going to be lower scoring early on and maybe get out of hand late, you could wait and maybe place a live bet on the over. You might get it down to 6.5, 7.5 in game and see if you can just wait on some runs to show up late.
There you go. Well, looking ahead to the weekend, here's who we've got probable pitchers. Walker Buehler versus Peacock on Saturday. Tony Gonsolin gets the start for the Dodgers on Sunday against TBD. He's a new starter we haven't heard of. No, the Diamondbacks haven't announced a starter for Sunday yet. Some notes there. We've been over this on our show with Daniel a lot. Walker Buehler, the numbers are great this year. The underlying metrics are not great. I'm not saying I expect that to catch up with him in his start against the Diamondbacks, maybe at some point, but I don't think this is going to be the game. Peacock, on the other hand, is interesting. He has pitched against the Dodgers this year, 5 1/3, just 1 earned runs last time out. The flip side is his last 3 starts have been dreadful. 11 1/3 innings, 9 earned runs, 28 base runners. 28 base runners in 11 1/3 inning. He's given up 18 hits and 10 walks, just 6 strikeouts over that stretch. On Sunday, you've got Tony Gonsolin, still finding his groove, has just made a couple starts since coming back. The Dodgers are hoping that he can get closer to 90 pitches and maybe get them 5 to 6 innings, which he hasn't been able to get past 4 yet since coming back. So when I look at these two, I actually like the Sunday deal. Obviously, we don't know who's pitching for the Diamondbacks, but I'm just a believer in Tony Gonsolin. I think he's going to figure it out. I think he's undervalued sort of nationally, that kind of thing. Obviously, Vegas knows what they're doing, but I'm just wondering if this is one of those starts where you can still get a line that reflects Tony Gonsolin as a bullpen starter and a guy who has struggled. So if he's going to get on track at some point, a team like the Diamondbacks is a good chance to get that. So I would be looking for what Gonsolin could do Sunday and what the Dodger line there is. Anything you like Saturday or Sunday, Rob?
Yeah, your rationale on Gonsolin makes perfect sense. I think a lot of bettors are going to look at what he's done this season in his first 2 starts off the IL, and he's walked a bunch of guys, and he hasn't looked like, I think, the excellent young pitcher that a lot of Dodgers fans expected coming into the year before the injury. So you might get a discounted price there, and your rationale makes really good sense about, this is a softer opponent than he's faced in his first 2 times out. So I think that makes sense. I don't know if I want to go there just yet. I want to see him kind of put together a decent start before I put my money behind him. I really like the Dodgers minus 1.5 on Saturday. Buehler has not allowed to run in his last 2 starts. While the D-backs have a decent offense, I think he'll be able to hold him down a little bit. I had to look up Matt Peacock. I didn't know who he was. He's not a high pedigree guy. He's a 23rd round pick. He had never pitched above Double-A prior to this season. And even in Double-A in 2019, he only had a 6.3 K per 9. So he doesn't have overpowering stuff. He's been beaten up lately, which indicates that the league now has some video on him
Yeah.
and they can capitalize on some things. So it's up to him to now adjust, and I don't see him adjusting against a very talented Dodgers roster. So and Dodgers lineup. So I think that's a spot where I want to try and capitalize on Buehler going against a rookie and take the Dodgers on the run line.
There you go. There you go. Well, looking ahead, obviously to the full weekend, Rob is a fan of the over on tonight's 9.5. I like the Dodgers -1.5. We both like AJ Pollock under 1.5 total bases. Apologies, no offense taken to AJ Pollock. I hope you walk 4 times, add a single if you want to at the end. That's perfectly fine with me. But obviously, we like the Dodgers in general in all 3 of these games. Maybe not wanting to bet on them on the money line. I mean, if it's -200 for some of these, it could be a mess. Rob likes the Dodgers on Saturday. I like the Dodgers on Sunday as well. We like the Dodgers basically all 3 of these games. This could be, I mean, I'll ask you one last question, Rob, to get out of here. This feels like one of those things where do you just throw the Dodgers money line in a parlay, like with whichever side of the total you like? Is that something you'd be interested in? Because I never like to bet -200, but if I'm going to bet over 9.5, like I'm probably betting on the Dodgers winning at the same time. So why not parlay those 2 numbers together?
Yeah, the thing is that -200 isn't going to increase your payout by that much, and it's adding a second bet to it. So I don't necessarily love doing that, but if there was ever an opponent to stack the deck against, it's a team that's lost 14 in a row, like the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. We like the Dodgers this weekend. No surprise to anybody tuning into this show, I'm sure. But the Diamondbacks have lost 28 of their last 30. We hope that continues. 4 of those losses were to the Dodgers. So that's Rob Morse. I'm Jeff Spiegel. Enjoy the games this weekend. We'll have no live post-game shows this weekend. We'll be back with a normal schedule next week, though, Daniel and myself on Monday. So check out an interview that I did with Justin Lorber, future Dodgers, yesterday as well. Daniel and I kind of did our normal Monday show on a Thursday. So if you want more preview for the weekend and a look back, check that out as well. That's Rob. I'm Jeff. We appreciate you joining us as always.
The best team holding a trophy high in the air. The Los Angeles Dodgers, champions of the baseball world.